Hello, YouTube, and welcome to Voices of the Internet. I am presenting this channel because I see so many commenters on various social media platforms, and I feel like a lot of people have a lot to say, and I wanted to create a page where I can consolidate some of those thoughts that I see typed up on different, all the common social media pages. And I wanted to kind of just express my own thoughts and opinions and my perspective as well. So, hello, welcome. I am a Pisces. Let's just start off with that. Sorry, by the way, if this episode is a little bit rough. This is my first episode, so it will advance and progress from here. But I want to keep it simple. So, yes, I am a Pisces, and I have to say, I started feeling really strange around February. There was I think it was February 1st, actually. I remember it was my late grandmother's birthday. And I think that was the first moment where I felt, like the first day where I felt just very something strange, like this pull of energy. I related it, of course, to the fact that it was my grandmother, my late grandmother's birthday. So I always feel kind of off at that time of the year. So that didn't really surprise me. But leading up until my birthday being March 6th, I noticed that as the weeks and the days and the weeks went by, I started to feel a different, very strong sort of pull. And I looked online, and this stuff wasn't populating on my page at first, but I felt like as the Pisces season was kicking in, I started to see a lot more information on Instagram and other channels that was relating to being a Pisces and how Pisces were likely to be feeling in the weeks leading up to Pisces season, and also some information regarding how you feel during the season and afterwards. And as a Pisces myself, man, I gotta say, I felt it. The things that you read about, that other people talk about, is feeling like your soul is going through this transformative sort of stage. I felt all of that. And I know a big part of it has to do with aging. I am 34 as of now. I just turned 34 March 6th. I know a lot of the perspective change has to do with aging and and environmental circumstances. The world's on it's felt like it's been on the verge of collapse, and there's so many things happening left and right. The media is putting something new in our faces every single day, every single moment. It's like a nonstop barrage of just BS that's constantly bombarding our brains. So in the midst of all of these things going on, I felt something that was outside of that. Like, yes, there's these biological and environmental factors that are taking place, obviously, as I just explained, but I felt like there was something really spiritual about coming into my 34th year. And I thought that I was alone, but looking online, and if you look in the comments of, these Instagram posts and threads posts, and then you see other people who are also Pisces describing the same feeling. And I don't know any of these people, just random people that I come across online, random commenters. And I noticed that we were all collectively sort of feeling that transformative Pisces change up in our lives. And I felt it deeply. I felt like a lot of the energy and a lot of the things that kind of maybe were mentally holding me back over the past few years. I honestly did. I honestly did feel a lot of that, a lot of those burdens, a lot of that baggage get spiritually pulled away from me. It was almost as if like the moon, sweep by and just grasp this sort of amount of crap in mindsets and thought processes and actions, and it took all of that, and I honestly feel like it maneuvered me into a new realm. Now, I see a lot of talk online about people who, which I don't doubt this, because the world is so insane and we don't know what this planet even is. We don't know how we're around it. I don't knock the fact that we definitely could have switched into some different reality. And I think a lot of people across the board have felt that. But if everyone across the board, meaning all the signs, are feeling this big sort of change up, you better be damn sure to know that Pisces, I think we got like a we took a huge hit. I know other people online, I saw commenters talking about how, how they felt just like this drainage of just, as I mentioned, like this drainage of, it's like a purification. Like I felt like we went through a purification process, and it's not so easy putting it into words, but feeling renewed how I feel now. Now, that's not to say that there are not still things that I'm worried about or stresses that I have that carried into this new season. But I do feel that a lot of my attention that I put on those things, I'm seeing that attention in a negative way kind of get pulled away, and those once negative situations or thought processes, I feel like I've naturally am starting to see a different perspective of those things. I'm starting to see those things in a different light. And I've read that a lot of people, from what I've seen, have felt that same thing. I mean, it took an emotional toll. There was so many days, I think in February leading up to my birthday, there was like just some days where I literally just like felt like shit. Actually, it was not like a good time. I was actually going through a rough mental patch at that point, but it felt like it was something necessary for me to go through so that I could achieve something else, so that I had to go through the rough to get to the good, and it's still like this blurry sort of feeling that I have, but I feel like there's more clarity that I'm getting on how I feel as the days go by. But I know a lot of people were emotionally strained and drained and were feeling hopeless and feeling like something major, was changing in their lives that you just couldn't quite put your finger on it. Like that's how I felt all February and into March. I felt like it was just this heavy feeling that I could not put my finger on, but it was there. I felt it in my core. Again, I almost felt like it has some bits to do. You can't get away from the fact that it has some bits to do with how the world has been, how things are in the United States, in my country where I live. And also things that, again, come with age and becoming your mid-30s. So there is a lot of that at play, that I'm not denying any of that. But there was also, in the midst of all that, a very spiritual sort of connectedness that don't think I've ever felt, at least in a way that I'm able to like acknowledge it without looking past it. I felt like this Pisces season, for this Pisces, I had no option but to acknowledge how I felt. And of course, social media is in our faces. So when I'm seeing all of this Pisces stuff getting thrown at me through the algorithm, and I'm seeing other commenters expressing how they felt, and I'm like, man, we collectively, as a Pisces, a group of Pisces, we're out here feeling it. We're out here really feeling this change. And I hope that for myself and for everyone watching this and for everyone who's not watching this, I hope whether you're a Pisces or not, that through all the BS that we're being fed, through all the food contamination that, here in the US, our food is like contaminated. I don't know if you know that, but our food is contaminated. I'm sure our water is contaminated with who knows what. And just in a world where there's just so much war and violence and destruction and seemingly endless chaos, I really hope, whether you are a Pisces or not a Pisces, it don't matter. I hope that we and you and me, we all can just pull through somehow and find, shed that layer of, ourselves that we were. And if you see a light that you can take to bring better things to your life, stay in that light, stay on that path, and focus on those things. Because I think that things have a high and have a low. Cryptocurrency, the stock market, everything, how you feel, emotions, blah, blah, blah. Everything has a high and a low. And I feel like those who hang on and hang tight and really focus on seeing that better image for yourself and for all of us, I really think that we can truly get to having much better days. I know it doesn't seem like it, but I'm confident that we are headed towards a better life for us all. At least, I have my fingers crossed in that. But I just wanted to give some quick information about myself and talk about my Pisces self, Shout out to all my Pisces. This is just the first video of many. I will be talking about random things. If you go on my Instagram, random voices is what it's voices of the internet is what the Instagram is. But if you look in there, it says random voices, because I am a random voice. You are a random voice. He, she, they, we all are random voices in a big collective of, random voices, or however you want to put it. But I am going to be bringing you a lot more of my insights and talking points and sharing some visuals also. I'm going to be taking little pics and I will post the actual quotes from people that I've come across on the internet who all have things to say. And when you look under a topic or you look under an Instagram video, and when you can weed out the AI bot posts, because there's a lot of those, that's a whole other discussion. But if you weed that out and then you actually get to like the core of actual human commenters, you'll see that we all through all of this have a lot in common. And there's a lot of negative thinking, but there's also this drive. I think in the negativity, there's this drive for like a better, more positive future for all of us. So I hope that for us all. So anyway, on to the next video coming up soon. I don't know how often I'll do these. I'll be putting out a couple of videos every week or so, or whenever topics come to mind and I want to provide my input. So be well, stay safe, take care, and until next time, this is Voices of the Internet. Peace.